Hello, everybody. Welcome to a match preview of Aston Villa Newcastle United. We are live. We're live here on the channel, but it is pre-recorded. We can't interact with you, but hey, listen, leave your comment, leave your chat, and of course, I'm gonna obviously I always respond to everybody, so please do so. Let me know your predictions. Let me know what you think of what we've talked about, and yeah, let's get started. Aston Villa Newcastle United. We definitely need points, gentlemen. By the way, I'm here with Philip from Toon Tactics TV, Super Fan Dan, another American Magpie, and Paul Clark. You know, he's part of the team. So appreciate you gentlemen for being on the show. Um, we need to get points. I mean, FA Cup sounds good, and it is good. I want to win it, but we can't. You know, we got to invest in different tournaments. I guess you can say if you want to look at it from the financial standpoint, you can't just put your money all in one place. And the Premier League right now, let me just look. Would you guys know where we're standing right now?
10th.
Still 10th. Oh yeah,
Oh,
I'm in the
yeah.
right spot.
Oops.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you can tell I've been doing a lot of shows. I'm just like I don't even know what we're doing anymore, where we're at. But 10th, man. Listen, if you take in consideration everything that's happened this year, okay, we're a mid-table team, but for some reason, in my personal opinion, I believe that we could be fighting with Tottenham. We could be there with Aston Villa. We could be there. That should be our spot. And even though Tottenham is almost 10 points, 11 points ahead of us, I just feel like we've been smashed with injuries and all that stuff. And again, a lot of people are going to say that's excuse as a poor man's mentality. And Philip, we've done shows way long time ago, and you know for sure that I don't think that way. Um, but at the end of the day, brother, I mean, we got to a point where we were having an injury every match. I mean, it's incredible, man. So, what are you guys' thoughts on this match? We're gonna get to the preview, to the predictions. We're gonna get to all that stuff, but you know, let me start with Philip. How do you think we can come to this match and win it, brother? Away.
So look, going back to exactly what you were saying about injuries, there's a real factor. When people say it's an excuse, I say to them, okay, what could Jurgen Klopp do if he had 13 players out? What would he do if he had Alisson out for the rest of the season? Like we have Pope out for the rest of the season. What do you if he had? We've got Joe Linton out for the rest of the season. What do you do if he had McAllister out for the rest of the season? I know it's Jurgen Klopp, but he's not.
Yep.
He's not a player. So I've said that all that to say this. I think, like I said, we're going into this Villa game where our performances, our form is beginning to improve. I was about to say the squad's about to settle, is beginning to settle. It is and it isn't. Obviously, we've got the transfer window, got about half the team we're trying to sell, apparently. and so that's a bit interesting with what's going on there. But the team, if we just spoke about Fulham, the team all in all looked more stable in what they're doing. So we're going away to Villa. And Villa, just trying to do my homework a little bit before we started off, are in decent form the last 5 games. I think they drew 2 or 3, they won 1 or 2, and they lost 1 as well. Top players, average Douglas Luiz, Ollie Watkins, John McGinn. So their midfield is that's the if anything I'm worried about is mainly their midfield against our midfield. That's where it's going to be difficult. And 17-year-old Miley talking about his physicality against Douglas Luiz and John McGinn. I mean, John McGinn gives Joe Linton a game when they play, let alone Lewis Miley. And Longstaff, he's going to have to drink some Red Bull before he steps onto his game. And he really is going to, because Bruno cannot do, he can. Fulham is one thing. Villa is a different kettle of fish this season, and so I think Hal's got to find a way to be able to combat that. I don't know what you guys think. Maybe I don't think he'll do this, but I was even considering putting Livramento on that left midfield side just to add some physicality, some control, someone that's going to drive the ball forward and make the defense go the other way. The one thing I'll say before I wrap up is just to say, I think the one good thing is that Villa will almost make our minds up for us because they're so high pressing and high line. So we don't have to think too much about what we do with the ball. Get the ball to Gordon and Isak. It's that simple. Hopefully, do the defending well, which we've done against Fulham or whatnot, and just just we all know what the angles are to Gordon and to Isak. It's very similar-ish to I think what we done against Man City. We did that really, really well. And I think if we play it the way we played against Man City against Villa, we win the game because Villa don't have a De Bruyne and others. And I think we're a lot less tired. I think we played 90 minutes. Isak played a 90-minute, looked decent. I know that the performances weren't good across the board, but I think they'll get better for this game. So I think Villa will make up our minds for us and what we do. So long as we defend well, because I don't think we'll win the midfield battle. So we have to defend well and have a good outlet, which we have in Gordon, Isak, and to a degree now with Jacob as well, with Jacob Murphy. And that's the one possibility. That's the only, I think, possibility that we can win the game.
All right. And to be honest, the last match, I mean, obviously we beat them like a dog, but we can't count them because
we had Joe Linton and Tonali, big, strong, athletic guys.
Let me tell you this: that first game, I thought we're about to win. Man, we're about to win everything there is to win. And well, boy, was I off a little bit.
Our bench had Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, man. That was like is that the only game he played? No, maybe. I can't remember, but
he played a couple. Like we just looked invincible. I was like,
man. And Tonali, the signing just comes on and bam, smacks it in. Crowd goes crazy. It's just it was different. But Paul, brother, how are you assessing this game? This tough game that we got against Aston Villa at Villa Park.
It's really tough, mate. It's their version of St James's Park now. They have an outstanding record at Villa Park. Like, it's like our record at St James's. We pride ourselves on having a good record there. If someone comes and beats us at St James's Park, they've had a very good game normally. Nottingham Forest are the only team I could say that didn't really have the best game. We had a terrible game. They just had a better game than us. But normally, if you beat us at St James's, you've earned that win. I think that Villa have been hot and cold at times this season. I mean, that Man City game at Villa Park was probably one of their best performances I've ever seen from them. I mean, Man City, my goodness, they look like amateurs. I mean, they played them off the park. Man City were lucky it wasn't more goals because Villa played very well that game. I was very impressed. But and it's weird, they're a hot and cold team, Villa, because they do that and then Sheffield go there with Chris Wilder as the new manager, or newish. I think it's maybe his second game, or it might be in his first game. I can't remember exactly. And Villa kind of huffed and puffed and nearly lost the game. They just about got lucky to get back into it. So they can kind of go hot and cold, Villa, at times. And the one thing that makes me excited about the game, because I know we all know what Emery does. He loves his press, which does worry about midfield. But what I am excited about is if we break on them, because we definitely can, we're capable of it, their high line kills them. That's how you get them. And with the thing that makes me, think we're going to do okay in this game is that, Isaac, Gordon, hopefully a bit better than the Fulham game. Almiron or Murphy, whoever you choose to play, depending on if Almiron's not sick anymore, just depends who plays there. But you have got pace to get in behind them. And in the one at St James's Park, that's just what we did to them. We just hurt them on the break every time. And Villa were their own worst enemy that game. And so were we, to be fair, because their goal came from us being a bit too high up the pitch. I don't think we're going to be as gun-ho away. Obviously, we're going to be a bit here and there, I think. I don't think we're going to be all out. But as we were saying, if we play anywhere near like we did against Man City, I think it'd be an exciting game, quite a high scoring game from both sides. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet in this game. I'd be very surprised. I'd love to, but I don't see it personally just because Villa are a very good side. No offense to Fulham, they're highly superior to Fulham as a team. So I see this being quite an exciting game actually, and I think that there will be goals in this game for definite. Now I've definitely said that it's now nil and boring. But yeah, so I think it's going to be an exciting game when it comes to that. Our midfield, as you said, just needs to shore up a bit, but I'm excited for it. It's nerve-wracking a little bit, but records are there to be broken, and wouldn't it be lovely? Just because we love we have a bit of thing with Villa, as in my title, because they had a bit of a go of us when we got relegated, and we all know and love our lovely Villa watch on X, who has an obsession with Newcastle in particular. That lad, I don't know what it is. It's version on the fact that he's a Mackham, I think. To get one over on Villa is always nice. So if we can get it, it'd be extra sweet just for those little reasons.
Yeah, man, it's I'm thinking about it as you guys are convincing me. But maybe I just need to hear Dan's perspective, and then I'll see if I'm convinced that we can actually get this one.
This fixture is always fun for me because one of my best mates is from Birmingham, and he owns the local football pub down here, the Britannia Arms in Monterey. He's a Villa supporter. One whole corner of the pub is a Villa shrine. So this fixture is always fun. The beginning of the season, first game of the season, I got to rub it in just a little bit because we looked that far superior. Let's be honest. Emery was, for all intents and purposes, the first candidate for the post takeover job. He turned us down. We got Howe. We wouldn't trade Eddie Howe now to anybody for anything. Unai Emery came in and took over Villa and has now got them playing some of the best football that they've played in the last decade. This one's a tough one. Going away has been to our detriment so far this season. We haven't played well away. Philip teed up the main discussion point of this match in the midfield. Our midfield against their midfield, especially without a Joe Linton, without a Tonali, without the best Bruno that Bruno can be. We're going to struggle there. My biggest concern is Bruno being baited into getting that yellow card that's going to then earn him a 2-match suspension, which then puts us past this game. What do we do? Who do we play there? Also, is how, given that we had a good result against Fulham in the FA Cup, is how going to 3 days later turn around and play the same starting 11, or is he going to mix it up a little bit? Does Dan Burn have another 90 minutes in his legs, or do we start Livramento on the left to combat their right side? I agree with Paul. Their high press is to our advantage. We've got players that can get behind them and break the offside trap. In Gordon and Isak, and if you play Jacob Murphy, playing devil's advocate, let's just say Miggy is still ill. He's not able to play. He
won't be. He's got COVID though.
Right. So my feelings are, we've got Jacob, Isak, and Gordon. In those three, we've got sprinters that can get. They can get 3, 4, 5 yards ahead of their defense just by a good Bruno pass, and all of a sudden you've run onto it and you're off to the races. So for me, like Paul said, Villa's going to dictate what we do. We're going to name our best starting 11. If that means Livramento at left back and Trippier at right back and Svar and Cher and Botman, that's fine. If we decide to play the same starting 11 that we played against Fulham, it's almost necessitated. You just look at our injury list, and it's not an excuse, it's a fact. We're without 10, 11 first-team players. We're going to play the best 11 that we can play. And if we go with the same starting 11 against Fulham, I think we're going to have a tough time, simply because that's our second game in 4 days. I think we're going to see some tired legs out there. But I think, having gotten a result at Fulham away on Saturday, I think our guys are going to be up for it. I think they're going to be willing to play their socks off. Villa Park is an intimidating venue. At the same time, it's not St. James's. And if what was our allotment for the Villa game? Do we get 3,000, 2,000? I can't remember how many away supporters are going to be there. But if the Toon Army is in full voice, that also makes Dan Burn feel 10 feet tall. You know, it makes
Which I'll tell you what, man.
Feel 10 feet tall. It makes I think it's going to be a tough match, but if we play to our best with the starting 11 that we will most likely start, I think we can get a result. I would like to, obviously, would like to see a win. I think it's going to be, there's going to be goals. Ollie Watkins is dangerous. John McGinn is a force to be reckoned with in the midfield, especially if our answer to John McGinn is Lewis Miley and Sean Longstaff. I'm not slacking the boys. I'm just saying it's men against boys. And Bruno's just got to keep a cool head, and make sure that he doesn't get that yellow, because if he gets the yellow, we're going to be in the next two matches. It's going to be hard.
Is it the next two though, or one?
It would be the next. He's already served a one-man. He's already served a one-match suspension. So
so he adds up.
Yellow, that's 10.
Oh my
that
God.
means
That's why I hate the Premier League, man.
Yeah. Well,
we need to move. We need to move to Spain.
And the thing is, the next couple of games after the Villa, Luton at home,
Nottingham Forest,
Bournemouth, like we should get 9 points from those games.
It would be like going hunting at the zoo. You know what I mean? It'll be easy. It's an easy kill. I don't know, man.
We need Bruno.
Yeah,
we lost. It was crazy. Is we lost Luton at last time we were away, but and then Nottingham Forest did. We lost that one too, 3-0, right?
Yeah, Forest and Luton are the main blotches for me when it comes to how. Now, my hot take is that I hope he becomes our next our Ferguson. But if you lose games like that, especially when when we had players on the bench, where there was no excuse about Wilson come on for Isak. We lost against Luton. Nottingham Forest, as Paul mentioned, that was just insane.
That was just an aberration.
Yeah. Wow. We made Chris Wood become Van Nistelrooy. We made him. We turned him into Van Nistelrooy.
Okay,
and and the thing is, if we won those games, we're like 6th, 5th.
Yeah.
And it's just so annoying. So I mentioned that to mention this is that I hope Bruno doesn't get a yellow card, because he's going to be the difference maker in those games, and there's nobody else in our squad that does what he does. It's going to come down to, and I know there's been a lot of criticism online in terms of how likes the midfield in terms of being kind of one line, essentially one flat line, which when it works is very effective in closing the opposition's number 6. And but when it doesn't, you got a big gap in between yourselves. Yep. But I think we had that big gap between the defense and the midfield because of the lack of energy and the fact that the guys have been playing together before. I remember I saw an interview a year ago with Bruno Gomes, and it was almost said in passing when they said, in training it's always lines, and he carried on. So let me know that he doesn't even want to talk about it, because all Hal does in training is the midfield, the defense, lines, which we didn't see very well, obviously. But when you're not having the time to train together, that's what happens. I think that's why we beat Fulham, partly because even though we didn't play well, the fundamentals were very, very good in terms of what we did. I think the same thing would be for the Villa game. The fundamentals would be very, very good. It's going to come down to the personnel. I would want a little bit of more of a staggered midfield line. So Miley and Sean just behind Bruno, and just protecting the back four. That'll make us a lot more solids, and then kind of have a plan as to once you get the ball, just use Gordon and Isak as outlets. And this time, we know that Isak's got the movements and he can be devastating, and kind of and do it that way. My only fear is, I say concern, that if Unai gets a bit more nuanced in his higher press, so he, for instance, allows Villa, tells the players to back up by 5-10 yards, it's going to be even harder. And he kind of uses the same tactic that Man City used in the second half, where they stop pushing Walker so high up, they stop pushing Ake so up in the midfield, and they just drop back a little bit, and they just grinded us down.
Yeah,
that's my main concern. But that's to do with energy levels. And I think partly why we failed is obviously, we only were able to play 60, 70 minutes up to Man City, because we're still recovering from the previous times, whereas it's not the case. I know that, yes, 3 days before we played Fulham, but we're used to now playing 2 games, sometimes 3 games within a week. It's just playing 10 games in 30 days. That's the problem. And so I'm quite confident in that. I'm with our defense. So I'll back our defense against their attack. The problem is the midfield. If they're able to just hold off their midfield a little bit and play a little bit better and find an outlet, at least make Villa a little bit more apprehensive about going all out on us because we've got the outlets, we begin to kind of win that game. I think we've got the better strikers. And so, but obviously Ollie Watkins has got 17 goals, I think, this season, which is nothing.
He loves a goal against us.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know if we've done much to convince Chris. The last time I was with Chris and we were playing against Man City and me and Ian predicted us to win, Chris was sweating. He couldn't believe what he was hearing from us. So
well,
I'd love to hear the score predictions afterwards from everybody else.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. But I want to tell you some facts that I just found out, which is crazy. More positive towards Aston Villa, and but they're facts nonetheless. So Aston Villa have not lost any of their last 10 home matches. In this last 10 home matches, then Aston Villa have won 9 out of their past 10, tying one of those that I just mentioned. Aston Villa have scored 2 or more goals in 7 of their past 10 home matches. Newcastle United have failed to win any of their 7 away matches. Newcastle have conceded 2 or more goals in 7 of their last 10 away matches. And lastly, Newcastle have lost 7 of their last 10 away matches. So, and if you read that, it ain't looking good. But football is much bigger than that. As far as the lineup is concerned, what would you change anything, or did you just play the same 11 that played against Fulham? What is you guys' perspective as far as the lineup goes before we move to the prediction, the scores and stuff like that? Anybody? Paul?
It will be the same 11.
Okay.
Fit. I know people will not like hearing this because they're not. I know not everyone's a big fan of Dan Burn. Eddie Howe is. If Dan Burn is fit and he's able to play against Aston Villa, as much as people don't want to hear me say this, just like they didn't like me saying it when we played Fulham, Dan Burn will start. I know people hate hearing it, but he will start. And Livramento will be on the bench. The only thing that I can give you more positive than that is hopefully, if everything is in the right trajectory, our bench should also include Willock and Harvey Barnes. So that is at least some impact off the bench, which will be much, much needed. I don't know I don't know if Wilson's going to make Tuesday.
Maybe Almiron as well.
Yeah, Wilson should be back. Wilson should be back by the weekend or the weekend after, but Wilson's close to coming back. And then Miggy, it just depends on where Miggy is with COVID. Well, Miggy isn't, I think Miggy might have COVID, but I know it's definitely his
kid,
little one that has it. I don't know if Miggy's confirmed to have it or not, but you start to be sensible whether a family member has it or you have it. So it depends on where he is, but we should have a little bit more impact off that bench, which is at least gives us some options. Because Villa, again, like I said, are a great team. But for me, I just think that pretty much we start the same 11, unless anything mad happens. Trippier may be the only nervy one, but I think he's going to be fine because he's been playing on that for quite a bit. So I don't think that's going to be anything serious. He looked fine after the game and stuff, so I'm pretty confident Trips will be fine for Tuesday. So pretty confident it'll be the same 11. As much as people get annoyed at me because they want Livramento to start, so do I. But I just don't think he will.
Yeah. Everybody else think we could? Because I mean, I just feel like you can add injured players to the list, but other than that, I don't think that much can change. Or do you guys think different?
I think he starts the same 11. Again, question: Trippier came off with what looked like a knock. Could we see Livramento in place of Trippier again? Like Paul said, if they're all fit, it's going to be the same starting 11 that we saw against Fulham. I'm buoyed by the matter that we could have some fresh players on the bench. goodness gracious, that's tough. And I echo Philip. I want Bruno to have a better match. I want him to be strong, but not be, the guy that's going to get pulled into all directions and then make a mistake that gets him that yellow. Because if we lose Bruno for 2 more matches after this, I'm struggling to see who plays in midfield.
Lewis Hall.
Well, and to be fair, and when that was that, well, okay, you shake your head, Paul, but I'm sitting there looking at him going, he played well at left back for Chelsea. He played well at left wing for Chelsea. He played well in midfield for Chelsea. That's what put him on our radar. That's what made him interesting to us.
But somehow Eddie Howe don't like him. He doesn't like him.
He says he's got some defensive qualities that he needs to work on. Okay. Does that mean, if we lose a Bruno, do we see him in midfield? So now we've got 3 guys, 26 years old and under in our midfield. I don't know. I'm just hoping against hope that we have a good match. I can see us being tired, but only because we just played on Saturday.
Yeah, that is true.
I think Tuesday will show. On any given Tuesday, anything can happen. So there you go. Other concern I have, Chris. Other concern I have is the window ends or closes the next day. As we kick off against Villa away at Villa Park, what else could happen? Do we see a Lascelles go to Besiktas? Do we see a surprise signing for us that we didn't expect to see? There's a bunch of intrigue between now and the end of the 90 minutes on Tuesday night.
Maybe so. Listen, it's going to be a tough one. Let's go to our predictions. And this is when we get a chance of winning 300K. Now it's going up. So, you better get it right. Better get it right, man. Hey, people think I'm joking, but hey, you haven't got it right yet. So we'll see. You know what I mean? So
is this a verbal contract, is it?
It's recorded. It's recorded. It might get cut from the actual official one coming out tomorrow. But Paul, let me start with you, man. What is your score, brother?
Well, I'm not going to go 5-0 again. I know that. I do think I think it will be a high scoring game. The records are there to be broken. All this stuff about Villa having been beat here and there and all that nonsense. We haven't beaten them there or whatever. These records, these are there to be broken at the end of the day. So all that sort of stuff never really bothers me. Like I said, I think it'll be high scoring. I don't think we're keeping a clean sheet. I don't think they're keeping a clean sheet. I'm still going to be positive. I say that we're going to shock everyone and we're going to win 3-2.
Hey, man, I got the same score.
Hey,
I was writing it down.
Wow,
man. That's just too. Hey, two wise man. Hey, mind your business, Philip. There's a grown folks talk, man.
You drank a Dutch courage today. That's good.
Yeah. And actually, I got it on my paper. I scratched it because I actually put 2-2, but you can't see it, but I scratched it, and you know what? Paul gave me the no. As I was changing the 3, he said 3-2. So you know what? I affirm it. It's right there. Philip, what's your score, man?
I haven't made. I'll go after Dan. I haven't made up my mind just yet.
Okay, Dan.
I'm going with Chris's original intent. I see a 2-2. I see a draw.
All right, 2-2.
No, that was too quick. That was too quick, Dan.
That was too quick, man.
No, that's exactly what I was thinking. Because again, we aren't going to get a clean sheet. I don't think we'll do that. I think they're much more superior than Fulham or Sunderland was the last 2 clean sheets. They're going to be Villa goals. That's a certainty. The concern I have is when we've been scored on first, when we've given up a lead first, we've found it hard to come back. If we score first, we find it hard to hold on to it. So my feelings are They score first, we claw one back. They're going to score another one. We claw back the equalizer. I don't see us going 2-0 up and then giving up 2 goals. So I am quietly confident that there will be a 2-2 draw. That one's a shout out to Paul Whitecross, my buddy. So
there you go, Philip. Stop messing around, man. Say what's your chest.
1-0 Newcastle. I think I was just looking in terms of our big chances created. We're actually better than them by 3. We got 3.5. They got 2.9. They did get some. They've got kind of an Arsenal type of feel about them. I think they're very similar in their statistics as well. So they drew 0-0 with Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Obviously, they drew with Sheffield United, so they can draw blanks. They're not inevitable, but I'm not trying to. I hate talking down a team. That's the wrong way to go about it. I'm just saying that it's not inevitable that we can keep a clean sheet. Our defense looked a lot more happier. I just think we've got the better strikers, and so I think if we make up in our minds that they are going to they're going to have the better of the ball, we just have to defend well and kind of have a good outlets and just do those 3 basic things. Will be better. And so I think we can win a game 1-0. I want to say 2-0. There's something in me that says 2-0.
1-0. Hey, that's a victory. I mean, I have a victory too. Paul has a victory.
No. I'll say scratch that. I'll say 2-0. I'll say 2-0 Newcastle.
Oh,
I like it. I like it.
I like that optimism. How you really do.
There you go, man. Watches 1-0 and then he loses the 300K. All right. there you go, man. All right. So we got with Tony on the chat is also saying 1-1 draw. Ian Davidson saying 1-1. Everybody, man, a lot of people saying 1-1. Okay. And Ian says 1-1. So I'm gonna add everybody's there. Man of the match. Who's gonna be the one? Who's gonna be the key player that for this match? Like,
for me, it's going to be between a defender and a striker. It's either going to be Isak or Botman. I'm going to go for Isak. I reckon he scores 2 goals for us.
All right. Anybody else?
I think Gordon's going to have a better. Yeah. I think Gordon's going to have a better game. I
Gordon.
I think he's going to be up for it.
Yeah, he's got ambition in his eyes. Definitely.
All right, Paul.
For the sake of variety and the fact that there's normally a pattern.
Dan Burn.
I'm going to say we're going to have a Bruno masterclass.
That would be beautiful.
Run that midfield.
If Bruno is man of the match, we're definitely winners.
Yeah,
I tell you that. If he pulls that off, we're definitely winners.
Yeah. All right, so I'll say Isak. I think that he's going to have a chance of scoring. I think that the important players on this one is going to be the strikers, Ali and Isak. And kind of a little bit of a head-to-head battle of who's the second best striker or maybe possibly the best. Haaland has been. We all know on a good day, Haaland is probably the best, but this season he hasn't been playing much lately, and so we'll see there. I still believe Isak is. I mean, he's just incredible. But all right, so we got that, and yeah, that's it. We got to wrap up the preview. So I think it's going to be a really, really good match. I mean, we need it, man. We need the points. All jokes aside, it's looking really sad. 29 points. That's just not going to get it done, man. 29 points is not going to get it done right now. And again, injuries have a lot to do with it. But in the same token, you can say that and also say that we got we get lemons, we got to make lemonade. You know what I mean? We got to try to get as many points as we can so we can finish in some sort of European football. Maybe it could be possible. Somebody's going to have to drop off, but it doesn't matter.
How Man United are above us is beyond me.
Yeah.
It is
because
beyond.
But you know what?
Or Chelsea.
And you're right. Well, Chelsea's not above us no more. Oh yeah, one. Yeah, that's true.
2.
And 2 by 2 points.
Yep. 2 points. One spot. Yeah. Yeah, that is right. Brighton, very quiet. I mean, West Ham sneaked up in there too. I mean, we were above West Ham United, but it's just we lost ferocious. 2. We lost 2 key matches in Luton and Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
That should have never happened, and but it's gonna, we got to redeem ourselves in the next few weeks. If we lose against Luton at home, Man, I'm not doing podcasting no more. I'm done, man. Because that is, you know what I mean. That cannot happen. And
I've got De Zerbi from Brighton going to replace Klopp at Liverpool.
Why?
Okay.
He's so overrated.
Wow.
Why
I
does
just
he get rated so hard? I don't understand the hype over him.
well, I don't think. I think. Do you think that Xavi Alonso is going to leave Leverkusen to go to Liverpool? Do you
No, I think Steve Bruce is going to manage Liverpool.
Oh man! Now, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we have to wrap up the preview. It was an amazing show. Thanks, Philip. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Super Fan Dan. We're gonna be back.
That was a good one, Paul. I would love to see that.
We're gonna edit that one.
All right.
Well, actually, you know what? It would be good.
Keep
I don't
it
really
in.
like Liverpool.
Keep it in.
Yeah, no,
All
it's
right.
gonna be there. We never edit nothing. Anyways, we'll see you on the next one, folks.
Chris, thanks.